Hey everybody, it's Nate with Sauce Ain't the Boss here again, and today is day number 314 of quitting alcohol. I had a viewer mention that there were three reasons that they were really having a tough time quitting alcohol and then staying off of it once they try to quit. Number one is that the joy that drinking brings them. It's one of those things. I know when I was drinking, I felt that that was my jam, that was my hobby, that was my joy in life, was getting that drink right at the end of the day. And you kind of wait all day and you build it up in your mind, and then you get that relief when you finally take that drink of your alcohol. And so I get the joy part of that. And then the second reason he's having some troubles is that, the stress, going to work and having stressful situations, the stresses of life. I mean, that's the reason a lot of us drink, is stress, right? And then the third thing is he mentioned having some physical withdrawals. Didn't sound like anything major, but we all go through those little physical withdrawals and that type of thing, mental withdrawals. And then, you put yourself at work in a stressful situation, and you mentioned that, he couldn't really take time off. So he's got, this triangle of wanting to drink for the joy, the stress, the withdrawals, and work. How do you get past that, right? I mean, I can totally relate. That's why I, would drink and then want to quit. I'd quit for a while and then go back to drinking again because I just couldn't deal. I couldn't cope. I couldn't find that secret sauce, right? That was in the recipe to be successful at quitting alcohol, and you look for that. And that's why you say never quit trying to quit. You keep going through the process. You keep learning. You keep screwing up, for lack of a better term, until you finally figure it out, And I wish I could say that there is an easy way to overcome, the joy you get, the stress, and the reality of the situation for me, and I can only speak from my own experiences because I was where you were. I would give it a go and then go back to it, give it a go. I mean, this went on 100 times probably, and the most I had ever gone prior to what I'm on right now was 2 months. And so most of the time, typically for me, it was a few days, a week. I was lucky to go 2 weeks, to be honest with you. And so how did I finally get to where I was able to go this 314 days I'm on now? Well, it was getting over that initial 3 months, 6 months, that a good chunk of a year, and dealing with the wanting to go back to it, but pushing through anyway. And like I say, I wish I could say there was an easy thing that I could tell you that's going to make it not a challenge or not a discomfort or not a bit of suffering, right? But the reality is, I think for all of us quitting alcohol, you're going to have to face that discomfort. You're going to have to deal with that part of the journey. We can try to minimize that the best we can. There are ways to make that easier on ourselves and harder. Is it going to be a cakewalk? No. As much as we try to minimize it, it's still not easy. But some of the things, I've talked about in some of my earlier videos that we can do, utilizing different tools, planning a time that makes sense, having cold drinks that you like to drink. I mean, all these little things can add up and to make it somewhat easier, learning to control your mind better, turning off those thoughts of wanting to drink, exercising to deal with the stress, trying to get enough sleep, having other healthy hobbies and outlets that you enjoy doing, trying to find those things. If all you enjoy is drinking alcohol, looking for other things in life you enjoy. And like I say, that's it's easy to stop drinking alcohol, to just stop picking up the drink and putting it into your mouth. I mean, that's like saying I'm not going to drink, like I say, cabbage juice anymore. You just stop the flow of alcohol. It's the mental stuff that goes on, the physical stuff, the not having your drug anymore and having to deal with stress, having to deal with the boredom of not having that joy in your life anymore, so to speak, from the alcohol. And what I would say is, because I've been right where you are with all that, and it is just that you have to get over that hurdle. You have to keep moving forward one day after the other until you get past that point where it's super, tough. And it does happen. And that's what I wanted to film these videos for and go a full year and show all you guys, what it's like and what I went through, and to tell you that, because I'd never been this far before, and I would always view quitting alcohol as this horrible thing for the first month, 2 months, right? That I could never get past. Well, you eventually get past those extreme cravings, those withdrawals. You start learning to deal with stress without your drug. But it does take, I started to notice 3 months was starting to get, a little bit better. And then, like I say, 6 months, then again at 9 months. It seemed like every 3 months was like a graduation in this process where I hit another level of leveling up, And there's times where even in, maybe it was month 8, for example, where I would have a strong pull to drink. Maybe there was some stress in my life, and I wanted to go back to drinking, and I just kept pushing through it like I did in the beginning, and then I would level up again and feel so much better and stronger and learn more about myself. And so, we all want that quick pill to quit drinking alcohol, that instant gratification fix, which is what we get from the alcohol, instant gratification when we take this stuff. So we're used to having that in our life, but there is no instant gratification with quitting alcohol. There's just not. I wish there was, but there isn't. And I can't tell you, and I'm not going to lie and make some BS up about this whole thing. Is it worth quitting alcohol? Absolutely. Is it super easy? No. There's times where it has its challenges. Can you make it easier? And hopefully maybe you've watched some of my earlier videos, and I've talked about my ups and downs and the tools I've learned and the things I'm finding out about myself and how you have to work on yourself and all these different things. I'm hoping that this is giving you audience out there some direction and tools and useful information that you can use to make this journey easier. I didn't have this channel when I started. Not that this channel is some great savior. I'm just some, Joe Blow, regular alcoholic that quit drinking on his own because I was sick of it. And that's the other thing. I mean, for me, I don't know where you are at with your drinking and your walk with alcohol, but it gets to a place where it gets so bad that you go, I gotta get away from this. And I'm willing, the discomfort I'm feeling in this quitting process is painful and bad, but it gets to a place where sometimes that's not as bad as what you were feeling when you were drinking. These people that get to rock bottom and stuff, eventually it's so bad, right? Because alcohol keeps taking you down. It doesn't let up on you. It doesn't get, one day magically you keep drinking alcohol and then all the problems that the alcohol is creating, magically go away or get better. It keeps getting worse and dragging you down into a darker and more miserable state until you hit that rock bottom. Now, when you quit drinking, that's up to you. Do you want to go all the way down to the bottom, or do you want to start seeing where you're heading, and you start seeing the bottom, you go, that don't look like much fun. I don't want to go there. That's where I was. I was looking down going, holy crap. I'm halfway to the bottom here, and it's not getting any brighter. And so that was enough discomfort and, pain for me to be like, okay, I need to make a change. And so this pain and suffering I'm feeling from giving up my drug isn't as bad as where I was going to end up or what I was starting to feel, being pulled down by the alcohol. So, eventually you have to weigh that, what are you willing to keep putting up with? The discomfort you're getting from drinking and the pains and the health problems and the problems it's causing in your life, and just the I don't know what to say, confidence or your own self-worth of knowing that you need a drug. That's where I was too. I'm going, I'm addicted to this freaking drug. I need this drug to do so many things in my life, and that's lame. I'm lame, right? I don't want to be this lame ass person that needs a drug to socialize, or needs a drug to deal with stress, or needs a drug to relax or deal with boredom. I need to learn how to do all this stuff on my own like a big boy and quit being such a pansy with this alcohol, and that's how I felt. And so that was another motivating factor. So I guess in closing, what I would tell you is that quitting alcohol is worth it. It gets easier, but you're not going to see instant results and feel great about it in the first day, the first week. Gradually, you start noticing instant changes, but you're still fighting those cravings. You're fighting that alcohol lifestyle that you've been doing for the last God knows however long it's been. And so it is, it's like a relationship, right? A bad relationship. Even though it's no good for you, it's hard to get out because you're used to it. You are putting up with the abuse it's giving you just because it's comfortable. It's there. You've been doing it. You don't know any different. And so, and it's painful when you finally sever ties with that relationship, that person, or in this case, alcohol. You kind of mourn it, you long for it, But just like leaving a significant other or whatever that's no good for you, eventually the pain fades. Eventually, those cravings and longing for that person disappear over time, right? And it's the same with alcohol, but it's not easy in the beginning. It's just not. And so, make it as easy as you can on yourself by planning on it. You mentioned you couldn't take time off of work, and that kind of makes it worse. I totally get that. That's where rehab for a lot of people comes into play, I think, because you get to focus on one thing at that point pretty much is you and your sobriety and not having the stresses of life making it more difficult. The only challenge there is when you get out of rehab, you re-enter back into your life and those stresses start to show up again. And so hopefully you've had enough time to sort things out to be able to deal when you get back into that life again. Rehab can be the answer for a lot of people. I didn't use it. I never have been. I know people that follow this channel have gone and have had success with it. And I don't knock anything that helps somebody quit drinking alcohol, whether it's AA or rehab or doing it on your own, reading books, watching this channel. I mean, there's so many different resources out there to help people. And if you're getting some help from any one of those, then that's what's important. And that's what matters to me, is that you're bettering yourself and getting away from the damn stuff, which is alcohol. So, sometimes you have to question too, if you can't take time off, you got to look at your life and I changed careers, like I mentioned in a couple videos, because I hated my job so much stress, and just the company I was working for was going bankrupt. And I got to a place where I was just sick and tired of dealing with the stress and BS of this corporate world that was really poorly run and causing undue stress on everybody that worked there. And so I had to make a change. Could I have gotten sober in that environment? I don't know. I just don't know. Eliminating that was, but I still drank years after I resigned from the grocery business. But it's one of those things, you have to figure out a way where if you really need to get away from alcohol, what can you do? What changes can you make other places in your life to give you the space and room you need to be successful at quitting alcohol, And sometimes maybe you just can't, and you're just going to have to learn to navigate it with the life you have until you get away from alcohol. And then that's when you can make better decisions and choices to make your life better. It kind of works twofold, right? I mean, you quit drinking alcohol and then all of a sudden you're more clear-minded. Opportunities open up because you have more time on your hands and you can make better decisions then. Or sometimes it's, you can't quit alcohol until you change some things in your life that are causing you to drink, right? So then you change some of those things. Quitting alcohol becomes easier. So, it's just a juggling act that you're going to have to figure out based off of your lifestyle, what you got going on. But, the biggest thing I can tell you is that it's going to take time and you can't rush the process. And you have to give it the time it deserves. If you give it a month, it's not long enough. If you give it 2 months, it's not long enough. If you give it 3 months, it's not long enough. You know, you have to give it enough time to where you start going, holy cow, I'm dealing with stress better now. One day you just wake up and you go, I'm dealing with stress better. My relationships are getting better. I've saved a ton of money, you know, but you don't notice those things overnight. It's that time process that, has to happen before you start to realize that you have gotten better. You have leveled up. You are dealing with things now without your old crutch anymore. And so give it time, and I wish you all the best. If you have any more questions or anybody else has questions, I'll try to help. Leave your questions in the comments below. If you guys are getting anything out of these videos, please give them a like. Subscribe to the channel if you can. And most importantly, remember, sauce ain't the boss. You are. You guys have a great day.